All right, class. Today I want to talk about the short I in KK. There are a number of difficulties with this symbol in KK. The first is that most people misunderstand the name. We call it a short I. This does not mean short in duration. This does not mean you say it as short as possible. It has nothing to do with the duration. And it's very confusing for most people, particularly since if you try to say this short, you will say it in a way that blocks the air in the throat, releases the air, and then blocks it again in the throat, which is not an English way of speaking. It's a Mandarin way of speaking, which means that as you do that, you have pulled your tongue back and you're not even in the right place. This is our handy little IPA vowel chart, right? The sounds that we were worried about are all in the front, and you have just pulled your tongue back, and now you're making a sound somewhere back here, which is not even the right sound. Not that it matters, because if you say the sound that short, your ears have no idea what that sound is anyway. So what is the short I sound, and how is it different from the other things that this symbol actually represent? The short I symbol in KK actually refers to three different sounds. The first, again looking at our vowel chart, is a true middle, near middle, near center sound, the A right here, and this will be your true short I sound. Most people will make the mistake of opening when you see this sound, especially if I compare it to the E in the front here. Now the E, if you recall, is a tight sound. Tight primarily in the tip of the tongue. So you want to have the tightness in the tongue, E, and you'll feel a little vibration on the tip of the tongue. And the problem is most people will open and that will drop the tongue too far, and now you're probably down here somewhere, but probably in the middle because the middle of your tongue is going to be too high. What we need to do is stay tight for the E and then just relax. Stop being tight. Not even relax. Don't move, don't do anything, just stop being tight. And that will get you pretty close to the short I if your E is actually correct. This is the main stressed sound. If you think of a word like kiss, it's an right? It's not kiss. The second of the three sounds, is what we call a reduced vowel. Now, the reduced vowel most of you are familiar with is this guy. Well, what is a reduced vowel? Well, if you had this word in, Japan, you were trying to say this, it would be banana. You would have the same vowel sound for each of these. But in English, we don't do that, right? We have a stress in the middle, and that gives us our good ah. This is our true vowel sound. And before and after that, we make it a small, weak sound. Kind of here in the middle. Here's your right there, right? Now this works nicely when you are doing sounds that are really just in the middle, relaxed, or in the back and moving to the front. But if all the sounds in the word are up in this higher area and we want to keep things tight, we won't use the schwa as the reduced vowel. We will actually use a reduced short I, which is going to be much closer to the top here, the alveolar area. And this is where our t, d, and n are typically, right? And that will be more like what most people in Taiwan think of when they think of the short I, the it kind of sound. But it's not really it as stopped in the throat. It is it because you're very quickly moving to the next sound or away from the previous sound. Now the third sound we have, see here, we have this middle sound. Now in KK, we will really only see this in this combination. And if you think of this ing, this is your standard ing suffix, right? Well, the ong is a velar sound back here in the back, with the back of the tongue. And we need something here. But if we're doing a short I, we're way too much in the front. It will sound really weird, like ing. We don't want to do that. And in fact, if you try to do that, you will probably go up and make a sound that's far closer to an n sound than you would like, than I would like. What we want is this middle sound. Now in IPA, this has its own symbol, of course. And it's very similar in sound to this front E. And it will look like that front E, but we put a little bar through the middle, I bar. And what you hear is more of a sound like E. It's a little tighter, a little higher. The tip of the tongue is a little lower. Ing. So in KK, this short I symbol might refer to either a true short I, a reduced short I, or this central E sound. So how do you know which sound we're actually referring to? Well, the easy answer is to look in the dictionary. But now you're in trouble. Because if I take, say, a word like this, and look at a dictionary in Taiwan, the Yahoo Dictionary or Longman or Dr. I, you will see that the last sound here is the short I, right? As is the second one. But if you look at a US dictionary, you will see that this is RE up in the front. Now, if you recall, I said that this middle sound, the center sound, E, sounds a lot like the E in the front there. They still have a slight tightness to them. And the language has changed. The pronunciation has changed over time. Back in the old days, we did say pretty. She is very pretty. But we don't do that anymore. Things changed over the past many decades, and now we get something that is a lot closer to this E sound. Whether it is the front E or the center E, we don't really care. But it is certainly not a short I. It is not an I. So if you are looking at a Taiwan dictionary, you have to remember that this Y does not actually mean this short I anymore. It will either be E or the I bar. The first one is a true short I. Well, how do you know that? Because the stress is there. So it cannot be reduced, right? A reduced sound is never stressed. A stressed sound is never reduced. So we need to make sure that this is a true short I sound. If it is on the end, or if it is part of our ing, then it's probably going to be a more middle sound, or at least the E feeling of that middle sound. And you could have all three of these in the same word. So if you have a word like this, we have stress here. We might have a secondary stress here, maybe. We'll take it away for now. But we have the short I, and this would be the true short I because we have this stress, right? Se. And then we have a reduced short I. Ni. And why do we know it's reduced? Because the T sound, we're up here, right? Even though we're taking this TR combination and making a ch, we are still touching initially as an alveolar sound, right? And that keeps the tone up a little higher. We want to make it fast because it's reduced. And then at the end, if we look at a Taiwan dictionary, we will see this short I again, but of course, that is not what we want. We want something that's either going to be the E or the I bar, right? So here we have our three sounds. Se, ni, tree, or tree. Either one, we don't really care. But these are three completely different sounds. And of course, the KK gets very confusing because we represent it as a single symbol. All right, see if you can find other words that have two or three of these sounds, and practice getting your tongue in the right place. But keep in mind that we're way up here, so you don't want to open your mouth. If you see your mouth open as you do this, that is because you are moving into a Mandarin position, and that will not be the right sound. All right, give it a try. That's it.